So today, Friday, is the culmination of 1 week's worth of parkour training with College Prep School, located in Oakland, right near the Rockridge BART. We've been teaching at various schools throughout the Bay Area for the past 2 years or so, using indoor classes, equipment that we bring from our own company, and the means to teach using our methods of coaching that we've perfected over the last couple of years.
This has been the third year, I think, of parkour that we're offering through the school during the special week of interterm in the spring. And during interterm, teachers sponsor different activities with the students that are different from our normal curriculum. And so the students each year get to choose which interterm classes they want to do. And usually there's one in the morning and there's one in the afternoon. Some go all day. But these kids, some of them are new to parkour, they've never done it before. Some of them are repeat customers, they have done this class past years. So it kind of just varies from kid to kid. Some kids will sign up again. Some of the kids were saying to me, oh, I definitely want to do this again next year. And also when we're doing parkour on campus, other kids watch and then they say, oh yeah, I want to do this next year, sign up for it. So it's a mixture of some old and returning students and some newer students. And it's also a mix of younger kids through older kids. This year I don't think we have any seniors, but normally we have 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, and seniors. Also there's a nice mix of girls and boys. I think this year we have I think it's about maybe 4 girls and 6 boys, so it's pretty close.
Grab that bar with the waving hand, and you're gonna grab underneath just like this, and just go under, sit through. Try that. So waving, and then yeah, there you got it. As you pull through, yeah. So nice. Through. Go. Alright, and with this, after you sit and stem, see if I turn this way, I don't want to go this way.
Basically, we have been coming to them the whole week since Monday for 3-hour sessions each day, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and teaching them the whole aspect of parkour, what it is, what you gain to benefit from it, and the whole community behind it. And that's what today's event is about, just bringing people together, people from outside and inside the community, and showing these kids that parkour is something that anybody can get into, regardless of age, height, race, whatever. Like, it's for everybody, and that's what we try to bring. Parkour Connections is the means to show what parkour is to the greater Bay Area, whether it's schools, organizations, work facilities, or whatever. We're just a bunch of guys trying to show what we're passionate about to the greater community.
Oh yeah, careful of the sign. Everybody's counting on you.
I think it's wonderful for the kids to do parkour because they are in their heads most of the time. It's an very academic school. It's very intellectually rigorous and challenging. So they spend a lot of time studying and thinking and writing and doing science problems and math problems. So it's wonderful for them to be in their bodies, and they get, of course, a chance to do that during their gym classes and their fitness classes, but it's lovely to dedicate a whole week to just being in their bodies, outside, and working with the environment, interacting with it, And also, I think what's wonderful about parkour is it's not just about the athletics and the body and movement. Those are all important components of it, but it's also about the mind and about overcoming obstacles and facing challenges and facing fears and challenging yourself, pushing past your comfort zone in a different way from the way the kids are normally used to challenging themselves. So I think it's really a wonderful activity both for the mind and for the body.
Up here, same deal. Doesn't matter how you get across them as long as you can make it. Keep going. If you feel like you can switch back to a catwalk, look for it and switch back. It's okay to go back and forth between positions. Interesting one, I like it. Belly down, twist. Belly down, like nips on top or even over. And you won't fall back. So Parkour Connections was started by a couple of community leaders from SFPK about 3 years ago. Basically, we found a need that we had to have liability insurance. So we couldn't do that. We decided not to do that through the local community to keep the local community pure. And we started Parkour Connections as the business side of things to do events and performances to show other people what parkour was like. 3 years ago, 5 years ago even, there was no one really knew what parkour was unless they saw us training and saw us doing it. Some people weren't all on the YouTube, they weren't on the community forums. So if you didn't see us performing or training outside, you had no interaction with parkour. So that's what Parkour Connections strive to do, was to come out and be out with parkour in your community. We eventually started teaching classes outdoors at local parks on the weekends, and we were referred to local schools by parents of those students. So one of the classes that we ended up taking was the College Prep School Intraterm Week, which is a week's worth of specialty classes during spring break. Anything from sailing to welding to video editing, and so we decided to throw in parkour. And we've offered parkour as an intraterm course there for the last 3 years. We've had anywhere from 12 to 25 students each time. And most of these students end up taking the skills and the ability to give these skills to other people with them as they go off to college. So if there's not a parkour club or training session on that campus before they get there, there probably is after they've trained around a couple times in between classes. Someone asks, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I took this course in parkour, I learned how to do it, let me show you. And from there, that was sort of the goal behind all that we do, is just get people spreading parkour as best as possible, and we're just a little part of that. So.
For me, parkour is kind of just like, it's a really good way to, you know, stay in shape when I don't have some other sport to do. So I have a good way to stay in shape. It's really fun, so it's a fun thing to keep up, and it's just, I think that it's pretty useful and just sort of like the very basic concept of get from point A to point B. I've never really been one of the people who's been too into learning the whole like the flips and stuff. Partially because I'm kind of bad at them, and then partially because I've always just sort of been I've always just had the opinion of I really like the idea of just using the moves to get from place to place, and I like learning how to do that.
Everyone grab your stuff and move it.
I think parkour to me is getting from place to place in perhaps the most convenient way, but also in a really exciting and fun way. Like, you could just walk on a path like the average person, or you could jump from rooftop to rooftop. And I think the latter option's definitely a lot more exciting to me. So, and on top of that, it just looks cool.
I think to me, it's kind of a sport or an art form that's based around using your environment to get from point A to point B in like the shortest way possible, or the way that spends the least amount of energy. And it looks really cool and it's a lot of fun. So it's a good way to get your body to be as fit as it could be. I feel like the most valuable one, once they get it down properly, is how to fall. Because one thing they sort of try to teach you is how to fall from a high place onto like cement without hurting yourself. And once I get it down properly, I think that'll be really useful. But it's actually kind of hard, so I'm not so great at it right now.
Yeah, I think for me, the most important thing was like, if you're gonna do a move that's really scary, if you focus on your technique more than on how scared you are, it's really helpful, and you end up surprising yourself and being able to do things that you're scared of doing. So I guess that practicing technique is really important, because it helps you a lot. I get pretty nervous because you don't want to mess up, and sometimes that makes you mess up. So I mean, it's really important to remember your technique, like I said earlier, and kind of like I get nervous for anything from parkour to like giving speeches or something. It's really the same feeling. So the only thing that helps with that is just practice, and the more you do something, the less you'll be nervous, because you've done it so many times before, whether it is in front of other people or not. So that's definitely a strong motivator for me to practice more, because then I know that when I am actually in that situation, that it'll be a lot easier for me.
I think for me, what's like the scariest things we have had to do have mostly been things where they want us to climb on something or to sort of crawl on something that's really high up. 'Cause I'm not the biggest fan of heights, and I'll sort of look at it and be like, that's crazy, I'm going to fall and break my neck. But then all the times where that's happened, once I actually get up there and I'm sort of catwalking or whatever across, it's usually fine, like I feel better about it. And there's also a couple things that I remember from last year, and I remember not being able to do them. So this year it's like I'm looking at them and I'm dreading them. But I've actually had mostly good experiences with that, and I've been able to do most of the things I couldn't do last year, so that makes me happy.
It isn't physical ability that's stopping you, it's all fear. You can do it. It's just you're afraid, and so you're like, I don't think I can make that jump. But then if you think, I can definitely make that jump, then you make it. And it's like, it's not like you became like 5 times more physically fit, although, you know, when you train, of course, you do become more physically fit, but it's not really the fitness, it's getting over the fear. And it's like, it's a pretty good thing for the rest of life, too.